Again to the third part of this 8 video series of the Microsoft Sentinel hands-on lab. As if you're following along with the whole playlist or with the whole labs, probably by now you already know what exactly we have planned to build in this whole series. And in this part of the video, or like this section, what we will do is like we will be looking around the analytic rules and also like going through all the different exercises related to it, and yeah, in general talking mainly about what this lab is about. It's mostly about the analytic rule part of the Microsoft Sentinel, and like basically showing you how to create different types of rules, like mainly for security detections. So also if you're just new to this video, or if you just clicked on this particular video, if you want to follow along with all the exercises in this lab that we will do, make sure that you have at least done the lab 1 part of this whole hands-on lab series, because all the things that we do there, like all the data and the artifacts that we use in that particular part of the lab has to be deployed basically to your Microsoft Sentinel workspace for you to work on and also like go further in this particular lab. So yeah, before jumping again into the exercises, I will initially just talk about exactly what analytic rules are. So it's kind of a part in your Azure Monitor. So when talking about Azure Monitor, like it provides a set of features for like analyzing and acting on the telemetry data, which we will look upon, and this is something which we will also be doing a lot in further laboratories as well. So just to make sure that that you know the initial part of it, that's how we start with this data collections and move further with this part. So yeah, as I was talking about Azure Monitor, so basically in this context, like the analytic rules, they are typically referred to a specific type of rule or query used for like monitoring and alerting in the Azure Monitor. So yeah, these are customized ones. You can also like use the inbuilt or the pre-built ones as well, which we will also look upon when we go further. And like these rules are like often associated with like log analytics and metric data, as I talked about, like the telemetry data collections as well, and it basically helps you to detect and respond to specific conditions which you define, or the predefined versions of it, or like the events which happen in the environment. So basically your workspace, which is called as an environment. Yeah, and this you'll be looking more in depth through this whole laboratory. So talking about some key points about this, so log analytics query rules, which is also like a major part. This analytic rules in Azure can be associated with like the analytic queries, so specifically for log, and like these rules allow you to define custom queries like that continuously evaluate log data for like specific conditions or patterns, and this you will like also see. And when these the parameters or the conditions defined by you are like in a specific query, so in the KQL or like the Custo query language, are like once they're met, an alert can be triggered. So this is also like customizing your whole analytic rules and like making sure how to trigger it an alert. So like it's also like the alert rules, they're also alerting and notification. So like going more in depth about it, you can also like read some documentations about just analytic rules and you will go through it. But initially the important part of it is that it's basically about queries and metric data that we collect, and once we go into it, like when we do the exercise, it would be like much more easier for you to understand. So like overall, when you're talking about like the analytic rules in your Azure Monitor, they are like a very crucial component for like proactive monitoring and alerting, which in general allows you to stay informed about like the state of your Azure like environment, or like the state of your Azure resources that you have predefined, and like it responds swiftly to issues and events as they occur. They also, or like one of their key advantages is also like it helps you to maintain the reliability, security, and performance, like also more particularly looking at the CIA triad about it of your application and the infrastructure in your Azure cloud. So yeah, enough explanation. Let's jump into our first exercise and follow along if you wish to. So in the first exercise of this lab, as we talked about, we will review the analytic rules, and for this all we have to do is like go back to our Sentinel, so like the workspace that you created if you're following along since the first laboratory. All you have to do is like go into Microsoft Sentinel and your workspace, and on the left navigation, so like on this side left menu, just navigate to configurations and analytics, and here you select the rule template section, so like here the rule template section, and review the analytic rule templates that are shipped with the product. So like you can see there are multiple ones. You can go ahead and check different ones that exist just in general. And now what we'll do is like we will on the analytic rule filter, so like this here, what we'll do is like we will add a filter, and we will select the data sources, and in the data sources we'll check the security events via, so security events via legacy agent. So check this and click on apply. You will see all the analytic rules that are present in the above data source. You can review all of them, like you can see the severity, the name of basically the rule type, all the data sources that it exists. So you can see here there are 5 of them, here there are 13 of them. You can see the tactics, technique, source name, like everything that's provided here, so like all the information. And what we'll do is like also to review the rule logic and possible configuration option, what we'll do is like we'll just go click on create, so click on this scheduled query rule, and here all you will see is like all the information that's present here. So review the rule definitions like tactics and severity, so like severity, tactics, all these things you can see, and then like press next, or like just go to the rule logic, and here into the like here what you can see is in the rule logic screen you have the ability to like create or modify the rule KQL's query. So like what I was talking about here, as you can see the rule query, these are like run under Custo query language. I think if you've maybe used it at some point in general, because it's quite used. If you also have maybe watched my video about creating the honeypot, and there I also used KQL, so like the Custo query language, to define certain rules as well. So like this is like to control the entity mapping and define the scheduling and look back time range, so like all these things. You can also look at incident settings, automated response, and once you have like added all the things that you need to, like just click on next, which is like create review and create, and after you pass the validation you can like create your new rule. So like this we will also look in the further exercises. Right now it was just about like in general reviewing and like understanding basically what analytic rules are. And so like after you review the rule configuration options, just make sure that you close this page and just go back or like navigate back to your like Sentinel overview portion, and then we will move forward to our second exercise. So in the second exercise, what we'll be doing is like we will enable the Microsoft incident creation rule. So yeah, about, as we already talked about what Microsoft Sentinel is, like it's a cloud native SIEM, and it acts as a single pane of glass for alerts and event correlations. So for this purpose, and to be able to ingest and surface alerts from Microsoft security products, we create a Microsoft incident creation rule. So in this exercise, we will review this feature and create one example rule with like filtering options to help the analyst deal with alert fatigue. So like creating this, we will like see it right now. So make sure like you go to your Microsoft Sentinel like overview page or main page, and in this, like again on the left menu, go and navigate yourself towards like the analytics, so which is in the section in configuration part, and in the top bar, like here, as you can see, the create option plus create option, click here in the drop down and select the Microsoft incident creation rule. Once you have done this, in the rule name you can enter like anything, like just in general your like Microsoft Defender only high and medium alerts. So just in general naming it something, and in the scroll down a bit, and in the Microsoft Security Services drop down, make sure that you select the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and in the filter by severity option, select custom, and from the drop down again check medium and high only. So as we mentioned here, like in the name itself, that's what we do. And after this, like just press next to the automated response, and in the above automated response page you can attach like automation rule that can generate automation tasks that can assist your SOC. So like with like multiple repetitive tasks or like security remediations. We will jump into this topic, or like we will talk more about this topic in our SOAR module. So for now, just go and press like next in review and create on the next page, and just click on save. So this was in general about our second exercise, where we just create a Microsoft incident creation rule with certain like filtering options and like creating our own custom one. So now in the third exercise, what we'll do is like we will review the fusion rule, which is like the advanced multi-stage attack detection. So fusion rule is a unique kind of detection rule. With fusion rule, Microsoft Sentinel can automatically detect multi-stage attacks by identifying combinations or like behaviors, like combinations of behaviors and suspicious activities that are observed at the various stages of the kill chain. So in this exercise, we will learn how to distinguish and review, or like basically review fusion rule in the Microsoft Sentinel. So for this, we jump back again to our Sentinel, and again in the navigation we go to analytics, and in the rule templates, in this what we'll do is like we use the filter, which is like the rule type, and select the fusion and click on apply. So once you do this, you will see that in the template screen you will notice that the tag in use, so like here what you see in use, as this rule template is enabled by default. So like press on the rule and you can review the data sources in the rule right panel. So like here, just in case if it's not, just click here and you can basically review everything that's written there. So in general, you can see the severity that it's high, you can see the rule type, which is fusion, you can read all the description, and here like it says like to enable these detections, we recommend you to configure the following data connectors for best results. So you have to like basically enable all of these to make sure that you see different information. So this was basically our third exercise, where we just review the fusion rule, and we will get back to this point later on in our SOAR module as well. So in the fourth exercise, what we'll do is like we'll be creating the Microsoft Sentinel custom analytics rule, and for this we will have a short example of exactly like what we'll do in this. So I will also put the link for this in the description. So let's assume that your security consultant has like notified you about this threat, so like about this recent phishing attempts, and based on the attack vector and the organization risk, he recommends you to create a detection rule for this malicious activity. So in this exercise, what you will do is like you'll use the Microsoft Sentinel Analytics rule wizard and create new detection. So before you jump into the exercise, make sure that you review the article and like read it properly, get more information, and understand what is the data source that will be part of the detection, because this is quite important when you define or like when you design the custom rule or like the custom log in general, and also like when you're doing it, how to design your KQL, so like the QSO query language rule in the log. So this when we push it, or like when we go into that part, I will also talk more about it. So like check if this operation are captured as part of your collection strategy. So now we like go back to our Sentinel and in the logs. So like here on the left menu, like go and click on logs, and here make sure that like now what we'll do is like we will in this lab we will create our own custom logs. In general, you can like use different ones which are also like provided in general from like here you can see, but for our like for this particular lab you will be doing our own. So what we'll do is like we'll run this query. I will put these for this query also in the description or in the GitHub link, depending how I design, and then all you have to do is like make sure that you copy the one that I designed at this point. Just put this. You can change the time range depending on like whatever you wish to, like 7 days, 48 days, for 48 hours, like anything that you wish to. Click on run. Once you run the query, what you also see is like after going down a bit, you will see here like the new inbox rule. So again, if you have read the previous documentation, you will get the point of why we are just looking for this. So basically this operation is indeed captured in our logs. So now what we have to do is like we have to, in the analytics rule page, we have to create like a scheduled query rule. So for this, again, we go to our analytics in the configuration part. After you go here, you like we click on create, and here we use the scheduled query rule. Here like you can like in this screen we will like basically add general information regarding this rule. Like you can name it and give like the description. Like you don't have to again like do exactly what I type or what I write, but like feel free to also do it, because like it gives you like more information of exactly what this is. So like we will name it like this, malicious inbox rule custom, so like it's our own, and in the description basically what this does. So like this rule is detecting on delete all traces of phishing email from user mailbox. So again, like in your organization in general, like it's really important that you give information, especially in the description, to make sure like exactly what this is. Now what we do is like again we keep the severity to medium, and in the tactics and techniques we'll select two things, which is one is persistence and the second is defense evasion. Now what we'll do is like we now move to set rule logic. Again here in the rule query, that's the query that we will use. I will again put the query for this in the description or in the GitHub link. So before you go any further, you can in general also make sure that just read it or like try to understand this query. It's not necessary, but just in case, like for you to get more informed exactly what this does, this would help you quite a lot. And then you can also, like, before you get into it, like you can also basically see the query results if you wish to. Like it's basically again same that you run it for point and you will see if there's something that there's indeed a log about it. So next, what we'll do is, like in general, after like putting the, you can, after testing or like after checking the current data, we will, under the alert enhancements here, as you can see, in the entity mapping here, like expand it, and we will put a new entry. So in the new entry, like in the entity type, first thing that we will do is like open, like as you can see, it opens the supported list of entities. And in this, what we'll do is like we'll select account. In the account, we will then choose the identifier as full name, and in the full name we will use it so like user ID underscore s. What we'll do is like we'll add another entity, and this would be the host entity, so like here, as you can see. And the next is again here we would select again full name, and the next is map it as originating server, so here originating server underscore s, and we will add just another or like one more entity, and here like we'll use IP, and for this we'll select the identifier as address, and we'll map it to the client IP address, yeah, this value. Once you've done this, so like this is basically how the mapping should look. To make your like SOC more productive, say, or like save your analysts time and effectively triage new created incidents, it can be that your SOC analyst asks you to add the affected user from the search results as part of the alert title. So again, for applying this request, you'll use the alert details, like here, as you can see, alert details feature, and create a custom alert name format. So in this, again, you can name something like just, but what we'll do is like, we'll use our, like you can basically just go on and copy this. That is malicious inbox rule with affected user and in this we will add the user ID, and in the query scheduling, again, like we will set it to, yeah, we can just keep it maybe 5 minutes, so like change it to minutes instead of hours, and the lookup data can put it up to 48 hours, or like you can also put it like 12. I think that's the easier way. So like this scheduling might not be ideal for like the production environment and should be tuned. So again, if it's in your organization in general, you will like you will have set rules or like different ways or different timings that you have to or like you schedule this, so it can be like completely different. So if you deploy the lab more than 12 hours ago, you'll need to change the look back period. So like, again, this you will have to change depending upon when you logged in. So if it's like 48, again you have to select the lookup period is greater than or equal to 2 days. The frequency must be greater than or equal to 1 hour. So again, these are like different things that you have to change accordingly for this. So just to show you, like, can say it like 1 hour if it has been like 2 days. If it's 24, like, yeah, just designing exactly based on when you like deployed the lab. So in the next, what we'll do is, like, again, leave the further things, like here you can see, just keep it as it is. The suppression also, like, just make sure that you leave it to off, and then move into the incident settings. So here again, as your SOC is under stress, you want to reduce the number of alerts and be sure that when an analyst handles specific incidents, he or she will see all the related events or other incidents related to the same attack story. So for this, we have to implement like an alert grouping feature. So for this, again, we will like what we'll do is, like, in the incident settings, so again here we will, under the alert grouping here, we have to change it. So like once this disable, make sure that you click on enable, and afterwards in this you can modify the limit, the group to alerts created within the selected time frame. So like here to, like, let's say 12 hours, and yeah, once you select this, select the grouping alerts. So like this, in this option, select the grouping alerts into the single incidents if the selected entity types and details matches. So like this one here, not the first one, but here, and here, like, you can select the account entity, and then what you do is, like, you then go to next, which is like your automated response. And like here in general, as we talked before, you can add different automation rules if you want, but like for this lab we won't. So we do is like next, and then like basically reviewing it. Once you see that after the validation is passed, we will create this new analytics rule, and this is basically the end of your exercise 4. So in our final exercise of this lab, like the 5th exercise, which is review resulting security incidents. In this, like, after we have created the custom analytics rule that detects us for the malicious inbox rules, what we'll do is, like, we will review the incident that we created from this analytics rule. So again, for this, like, go back to your Sentinel. So like here, going back to your Sentinel, and then select incidents. So for this, what you have to do is you have to go to your threat management, go to incidents, and like review the incidents page. So here, as you can see, you will locate a new incident with the title malicious inbox rule affected a user. So this one, what you will see in general is that, notice that the name adapts and the affected username adds to the incident name. So here you can make this, and so in the right panel here, as we saw, we can review the incident preview. This view will give us like a higher level overview on the incident and like the entity that was related to it. So for this, like, just go on and click on view full details. Once you click here, like in the incident full detail page, you are able to see the alert timeline. It's like effective when you have more than one or alert in a given incident. So like here, you will see all the incidents or IP account, and like that's the account. Everything that you can see, like there's a lot of information. These are like something you can also go through. It helps. You can see the old version of it. It's how it is. You can also get more information. So like this is basically like getting in general all the informations. Now here on the top level tab, you can press on the entities. This section will expose all the mapped entities that is related to this incident. So like here you can see, so press the entity like this entity, and in this entity, like the LB incident, what you will see is this action will navigate you to the user entity page. This page will give you a in generic view on the user entity with all its activity and related alerts. So like again, you can click on view full details and get more information about it. And this was basically the final lab or like final exercise of this lab, which was reviewing what exactly or like the created incident that we designed, the rule that we designed. And this marks the end of our lab 3. I hope you got good information and you could follow along quite well, that everything that we did. And yeah, just make sure that you go through specifically to the 4th exercise, which is like quite intensive one, to get more information, and like just make sure that you do it properly to get to this point, to be precise. And like if you have any difficulties, like make sure you can just comment down, like ask questions. I can try to answer them. You can also, when I will put this on my GitHub link, like I will have all the documentation you can also review there. Then it's easier. Also stay tuned for the 4th lab and the labs which we will do further to like go more in depth about this whole hands-on lab, which we will like continue doing. And like if you liked this video, if you enjoyed this whole presentation, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for like the other updates that come up for other videos, and also just put a like on this video as it helps the analytics for the video, for the channel, for me to grow basically. And yeah, just I'll be looking forward to you watching the further labs that I do of this whole series. And yeah, just stay tuned for the other ones. Yeah, until then, bye bye.